What's good, everybody? RJ Shelton here, back with another episode of Off the Top Show, BD Boys Edition. As you see on the screen here, my good brother James Muenchow, aka Jimmer. How we doing, man?
Oh, it's another week. We had a slow week last week, but we're ready to get back on the horse. We got an exciting week coming up for us. It's the world's second biggest spectacle, let's call it, coming up here this week because you can't dismiss the World Cup. But it's Super Bowl week, so really exciting things. Everyone's prepping for parties. Everybody's having get-togethers. It's gonna be a good week. It's gonna be a good week, and we have the return of a nice cocktail. So,
The man's not
mm,
soft.
mm, God damn, that's good. And I'll tell you this: we had Brat Talk yesterday or last week.
Oh boy.
Who listening? I know it's mostly Midwest people, but if anybody's from Detroit, um, or from Illinois or Minnesota, that is an old fashioned. That's the right way to make it. Any other way you drink it, that's not Wisconsin. It's wrong. Just like Rechecks Brats, you may think there's a better one out there. There isn't. There it may be another way to make that. There isn't. So don't even talk to me about this whole old-fashioned thing. That's the correct way to make it. If you want to know, ask me on Twitter. You know my handle. I'm not even going to argue about that. So I'm just letting y'all know that's the right way to make it. Any other way is just wrong. So, and we continue. So I
No.
didn't want to start off on a tangent too bad, but I just want to let everybody know.
Well, hey, we love your tangents, and that's why we got you on
Mm-hmm.
this show.
Exactly.
But let's go ahead and hop into this here. Obviously, the Packers set in stone as of right now. We still got some time to go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
just let it be. But Miles Garrett is definitely wanting out. Went ahead and is leaving. Obviously, the Cleveland Browns, and also Cooper Cup leaving the Rams as well. So, kind of looking at this, you're like, well, that's another thing that we can go ahead and maybe take a little note.
Yes,
I know Goose is
absolutely.
definitely going to go ahead and see what he can possibly do with that when he has his big board and come to
Mm-hmm.
draft day, free agents. As we say here, we're not in the room, but I mean these are two pieces that could definitely help us. Talk to me a little bit about this, kind of when you saw the news or what you think this does, kind of from a Packers perspective.
Yeah. So Cooper Cup's, I think, 30. He's got to be 30, 31. We're doing age checks with Jimmer. Let's just do it before
Hey,
people
listen,
start.
31. You were close. You said 31st.
I'm getting so much better at this. Um, but he's 31. He's getting up there. He's kind of still very effective. Still very much a um, really go to guy, good route runner. I'd say top 10 wide receiver in the league, maybe. He could crack it still at 31. Definitely not how he was. I mean, I'm if okay,
No,
maybe
no, you're
top
you're you're
15.
there.
What
You're
about
there.
top 15? Top 15.
Absolutely,
Let's trip. Okay.
absolutely, yeah,
He's
absolutely.
not what he was 5 years ago when he won the Super Bowl where he was practically almost unguardable. Um, but if we're talking about maybe do we want to bring in a guy like that, I think it would be good. He's older. He's not as expensive. I know the Rams probably want to would love to keep him, but if there's capital out there where they can maybe trade him, get another player or more picks to help their team get younger, I know they'd probably do that. Um, Maybe we're talking maybe a trade. Maybe he's not even on their board. Would
Right.
I like to see Cooper Cup in Green Bay? Absolutely. Like I think he raises that wide receiver group because he's just a guy that everybody circles. We're talking about this again. He's a guy, okay, there's Cooper. Make sure we just have somebody on him. Make sure we know where he's going at all times. If he's in motion, make sure that you adjust. I think it would be a great mentor for a guy like Jaden Reed. Slot receiver, they play the same position. I think it'd be really good. And also, he comes from the same system practically. Like
Right.
McVay and LaFleur, same system. They run the same thing. So it wouldn't be much of a okay. He's just got to gel with Jordan Love. That's all he's really got to do and adjust to the different play calls and maybe the different call like hot routes and everything like that. It's the same system, so I think that'd be a good fit. But who knows? Maybe they're not even going to do it. Cooper Cup, I think, has expressed how he would like to stay in LA. We'll see how that pans out. That one I don't know really going to happen. But if they call and say like, "Hey," Hey, this is Brian Goodkins, Green Bay Packers. Yeah, I'm doing great. Family's well. So we would like to inquire about Cooper. What are you looking for? We have this guy who doesn't like playing here, and you guys could probably use a corner. You know, that pass rush is pretty good. If we gave you a lockdown corner, man. Maybe you give us Cooper, and then maybe give us like a third, second round pick. So he's really good. And then he's still like 28 years old. No, we'll talk. Okay, bye. Maybe that's the conversation. I don't know. That was my best Brian
That was
Gutekunst.
pretty simple. It
I
can
mean,
only be that easy.
yeah, it's probably not. But I think that's Jair Alexander. I think it could be a really good trade piece. But the problem is when we flip the page to a guy like Myles Garrett, his cap hit is really good this year for another team, not the Browns. His cap hit for the Browns is horrible. He has a really big team bonus, or roster bonus, as they call it. He has a huge one on that, and they already have dead cap on him, whether they trade him or not. So if we're talking like, oh, we could trade Myles Garrett, flip flop two really good players at their position. I don't think Cleveland's in the business of let's trade another expensive defensive player we would like to get off the books for next year, because I think his dead cap runs out after this year if they get him off his books, for another guy who's just as expensive. I don't think they're in that type of business. I think they're in the business of, you take him, give us picks. Then we can rebuild this team. Their other thing would probably try to get out of the Deshaun Watson contract. I don't know if that's going to be that's not a James problem. That's not an RJ problem. That's not a Green Bay Packer problem. So we're not even going to get into that. But that's probably what they're going to be looking into, is try to get out of that contract. But I don't see the Myles Garrett trade happening because of, why would we trade Myles Garrett for Jair Alexander when Jair Alexander has money on his deal still?
Right.
We're trying to lighten our contract, and they are second in the league for most over the cap at this point, so they're just looking to offload. So I don't think that's happening. Like, everybody got excited, like, oh, Goop, make the call. I don't think it's happening because Green Bay, unfortunately for us, they have too much value on their picks.
Right.
So, which is good, but not in a time where I think your window is open. Like you saw what the Rams did when they won their Super Bowl. They traded every pick almost imaginable, and they went and won a Super Bowl. No one gives a shit if you trade all your picks, you win a Super Bowl. Like, no one's going to give a shit. And to make it even better, this is the NFL. Like, if you have a smart organization like the Green Bay Packers do, look at the Rams. They traded all that away, right? They went to the NFC Championship game 5 years later. And it's not like they were bad for those 5 years. It's just, they gave everything away. Yeah, they got old, like Jalen Ramsey and those guys. Aaron Donald retired. Generation, probably the best defensive lineman to ever play the game retires from your team. That's going to be tough to recover from. From what you say, Jalen Ramsey, the best person to ever play corner in the NFL history, got old, left the team. That's tough to recover from. But who gives a shit? They got a ring. No one's gonna be like, oh, I can't believe I don't even know. Matt Stafford got hurt last year. People were probably like, I don't think people were like, I can't believe we're so bad. It was such a bad idea trading those picks. I don't know. They got a Super Bowl. It needs to be, if your window's open, you need to do more and it's the NFL. If you have a good staff, a good recruiting, like the Packers do, like their recruiting team's pretty good. They always seem to find people. You can rebuild in a couple of years. Take the goddamn risk. Go get the ring and rebuild. Again, Jordan Love is 27 years old. Again, here we go with ages again. But I know he's under 28. But it's not like if you trade this, it's not like the 37-year-old Rodgers where it's like, we got to go do this now, which they didn't. Well, some people say they did, but they did it with in-house players. It's not like the 37-year-old Rodgers.
Okay. You're doing good. You're doing good, Jimmy.
So, you know what? Yes,
Hey, you know
sir.
what?
I
You're
deserve a
taking the
reward.
notes. Hey, listen, you're
Mm-hmm.
taking the notes.
Hmm.
You just pick a number and just say
Yep.
under
Yep.
every time.
Exactly. If I'm within a year, I'm cool. So good recruiting staff, and you pick guys like the way Green Bay does, you can rebuild in 2 to 3 years. Again, this isn't go all in because your quarterback is 37 years old. Jordan Love ain't going anywhere for probably 10 years, 10 more
Yeah,
years. So
yeah,
you can, it's not like you're going to be bad. So take the risk now while Jordan Love's not on a friendly deal anymore. While you got the guys of Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs in their prime, just take the damn risk. So, and if they don't, make sure your first round pick's a home run. So again, I don't see the Myles Garrett trade happening. I don't see the Max Crosby trade happen. I don't. The Cooper Kupp thing could happen. But here's the deal. Here's what I think they need. And well, I was going to say the T Higgins thing with free agents is always a possibility. Myles Garrett and Max Crosby. Let's turn back the clock here. Let's turn it back. 1994. Jimmer and RJ in August of 1994 are about 3 months old. Don't even know what the hell's going on in the world. The Green Bay Packers going through the season, and Don Majkowski gets hurt. Brett Favre comes onto the scene. Next thing you know, Brett Favre's a quarterback for another 20-something years for Green Bay. I think it was in 94. They were good. Like they could service and compete, but they couldn't get over the hump. Then this free agent came on the market, which turned the tides completely, and everybody who was like our age back in the 90s will say this. His name just so happened to be Reggie White. Reggie turned the tides with everything in that free agent signing was the singular reason. I mean, there was many other reasons too, like you don't win a Super Bowl with one guy, but
right.
that changed everything. Myles Garrett, Max Crosby could be that guy that changes everything. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because Reggie was a free agent signing, but it could. Like Max Crosby and Myles Garrett are dudes that are game disruptors. It doesn't like the Mike Tyson phrase. Everybody has a game plan until you get punched in the mouth. Everybody has a game plan until Myles Garrett can't. Nobody can guard Myles Garrett or Max Crosby. So that could be the key to everything for Green Bay. So we'll see. We got a lot. We still got a week left, and then we got another month until the new year happens. And then when the new year happens, that's when the free agents start. We'll keep eyes on this. You'll hear it. We'll hear it. We'll talk about it. It'll be a whole bunch of fun. We'll probably bitch and moan about something. We always do. But I'm just saying, Max Crosby and Myles Garrett are guys that could potentially be an impact, kind of like Reggie had. Now, they're not players like Reggie. Reggie was Reggie. But they could bring impact just like that. So I say, go do it. So I wouldn't even be mad if they didn't get a wide receiver. They need one with Christian Watson being down. But if they got Max Crosby or Myles Garrett, I wouldn't even be mad if they didn't get a wide receiver through free agency if they drafted one. So that's where I'm at with the whole thing. I would like it, but again, with Pete Carroll being in Las Vegas, he likes his defensive linemen, he likes his defense. And with Myles Garrett being on a team where you don't want to trade them another expensive player, they want to just offload and rebuild. So I don't think Green Bay is going to give up those types of picks for Myles Garrett. So we'll see. Maybe they might shock the world, but I think it's probably a 75 to 80% possibility that they don't give up just picks to go get Myles Garrett. So that's where I'm at with the whole thing.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you. I like how you're talking with that whole scenario and situation. We're just gonna have to find out and see. It's gonna be a long, long time before we know, but it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
here quicker than soon. So, let's move on over. Obviously, the Milwaukee Bucks. There's just been a lot of crazy things going on in the NBA. Obviously, Luka going to the Lakers and
Oh
everyone getting
my God.
traded. You got Fox going to San Antonio. You got Levine going to the Kings. But we're not worried about that. We're worried about the Bucks right now.
What you just said, I'm going to briefly say this. Really asinine. That whole trade, if you look at that trade. There's a guy online who went and put that into 2K. Put that exact trade into 2K. And 2K is like, go kick rocks. I think that's what the Dallas Mavericks in the game
Oh
said.
God.
If 2K is saying, nah, bro, that ain't gonna work. It's up here. It's just another case of Adam Silver being in charge of a league that is sinking, not because of money. They have plenty of it. Ratings wise, they're sinking. And the only thing that can keep him up is to keep up this soapbox and keep up the big market teams with the biggest superstars imaginable with trades like that. Because guess what? We're going to talk about it. The biggest markets are going to talk about this for 2 months. ESPN, Fox Sports, anybody who's anybody on a radio talk show with sports talk is going to talk about this for months. So that's how they stay relevant. David Stern rejected this trade. No, that's dumb, guys. Like, that is not fair at all. But Adam Silver, because the ratings are tanking, has to let these types of trades through, because now you have LeBron and Luka together, which, by the way, I don't think that's going to work, because those are two ball dominant players that I don't know if that's just going to work. You read stuff that the Mavericks came out with, like sources with the Mavericks. I don't know if this was damage control, but you kind of see it. Luka's weight's up to 270. A guy who plays the way he does, and they were worrying about his conditioning. He's 25 right now. I know that for sure. Look it up right now. I guarantee I'm right. He's 25 right now. Not going to get any better. Conditioning doesn't get better with age. That's the one thing. You know it. I know it. Like, people can say, "Oh, I feel great." Yeah, you feel great. Do you feel like you were in 23 when you were 23 years old? Hell no. God no. Christ, I'm 30 right now, and I'm like, I could feel the difference between 27 and 30. Like, if you're a pro athlete, if your conditioning's bad now, once you hit 27, 30, I don't care how good of physios you have. It's not going to work. Luka's an exciting player. I really like his game, and I really like watching him. I just don't think that this situation is going to work with LeBron. And also, it just makes me mad because, of course, LA Lakers have to stay relevant, so they have to go get another superstar. It's annoying. And
Well, here's the thing, especially with that. The the thing that threw me on a loop is that it wasn't even that the Lakers went ahead and tried to go get him. Is that
no,
the
you're right.
Mavs came to the
Right.
Lakers.
Like, what are you
So
doing?
Nico Williams, what in God's green earth did you not see what happened last year? Did you not see that you guys went to the finals? Did you not see that Luka Doncic? I don't give a shit what you say about
Oh,
Wade. I'm not hearing none of that shit.
he was
I'm not hearing.
useless on the
I'm not
defensive
hearing
end.
anything in regards to Wade or nothing.
No,
It's
that's fine.
okay. You guys fucked up. It's okay. You can go ahead
No,
and you
yeah.
have to admit that.
No,
As a
as I said, that
Mavs,
probably was
as a
damage control.
front, as a front office, you completely dropped the ball.
That is
You have no.
when you
There's
have, oh
you have
my God.
nothing to do. You guys dropped the ball, but we can sit here and talk about that all
I
day.
know
But again,
when you got the owner coming out, when Mark Cuban comes out and goes, I don't know what happened either. That's like, what? You didn't even consult like Mark Cuban about this. I understand the owner should give his GM leeway, but when you're talking about trading your most valuable asset, hey Mark, yeah, I'm gonna call the Lakers to see if they want Luka. We get LeBron? No, we're gonna get Anthony Davis.
and you want to talk about
Excuse
being
me?
injured, overweight, that's the last guy you want to have on your team is
That's what
Anthony
I said.
Davis.
The Bucks fucked up. They could have went and got Luka. Give him Middleton. For like, you want a guy who plays half the games? Middleton. Here you go. Thank you. Next.
Luca's better than all those guys. I'm sorry to say.
It is, but now the Lakers have their guy for the next 10 years.
20
So
years. That
because
man's a
LeBron,
Laker for life.
I mean LeBron's still productive and everything, but I just don't see how it works, and I don't think the Lakers. I mean, they're fourth right now, so they're doing well. But like, I just don't see how they get past. They still don't get past teams. So, that's a whole different conversation. I just wanted to comment on that because Everybody's
Yeah,
counting it.
that's
If I
crazy.
can talk about that trade, you know how bad the trade was and how big it was. So, uh, just wanted to throw that one out there.
And they got graded as an F when that all came
Big
said and done.
F minus. Like, don't even put F minus.
It's
Put even
crazy.
another minus. Like,
Uh, yeah, it was bad. But let's go ahead and get to our Bucks here. They went
mm-hmm.
ahead and lost to the Thunder, 125-96. Um,
That was the herd that lost to the Thunder last night. That wasn't
that
even
is
the Bucks.
true. And then this week we got the Hornets and then the Hawks. And then on the weekend we got the 76ers. But let's go to just this Thunder game. I went ahead and actually just was just keeping up on the game. I wasn't able to watch it.
We should have put our house monies on like all of
Thunder.
our rent wrote on the Thunder. I don't even care
Yeah,
what the spread was.
absolutely.
I messed up and I heard that. I didn't, for some reason my brain didn't go off and be like, you should bet everything you own on the Thunder tonight. Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, we both
Yeah.
should have. But I
Um.
mean, that game, obviously, all the starters were out in regards to guys that are normally our head. But
Yeah.
Jackson Jr., Johnson, the rookie that we had got, Smith, a rookie that we got, Rawlings, the guy that we got, Beauchamp that we've
It's
always had. Those five guys need to go ahead and travel with the team. They need
yeah.
to play with this ball club in the
I
Bucks because
yeah
there's literally time for us and foundation for us to go ahead and make a solid group to go to where
yeah.
we need to go to. But
It's
now,
yeah.
obviously, everything that we got going on, right? You see all
It
these trades. We're seeing now that
yeah.
we're possibly going to go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
look for Kyle Kuzma. Which, if he comes to Milwaukee, I swear to God, I'm
That's
not
I didn't
watching
hear
another.
that.
I'm not
Oh,
watching
please,
a game.
God, no.
I don't want
God, no,
Jimmy
don't do
Butler.
that.
I don't want Jimmy Butler on my team. I want him
You
far
know?
away from the Bucks.
Nope.
Possible. The only guy that I would really want, granted, if it even got to that point, but I don't even think it's going to. Lonzo Ball is probably going to go. Is probably either to the Detroit Pistons or somewhere else. But if we
Oh, no,
really, we're
no,
talking
bro.
about windows, right? We're talking about windows. You said it earlier with the Packers. Go all in on KD, and I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Here's the
Go all in on
here's the
KD.
problem with that. Not from a player standpoint.
There's no problem with that. Get rid of
Here's the
Brooke.
problem with that. The
Get
Bucks
rid of
don't have.
whatever you need.
Don't get me wrong. Here's the problem. Call the Phoenix Suns. It sounds like the Phoenix Suns don't even want Kevin Durant, or don't like the Phoenix Suns want Kevin Durant. Like they want to keep him around and build around him, even though he's getting older. Um,
They're not building around him, bro. They're getting
I,
calls from him. They're getting
yeah,
calls for KD right now
but
as we.
here's the thing: no one's gonna take for Kevin Durant. The Bucks don't have picks, and for some reason in the NBA, picks matter. I mean, if you want to talk about Kevin Durant, look at that trade that the Nets made with him and what they got for him. It's nuts. It's bananas, bro. They have like 10 picks. They may have three. I think they have 3 first-round picks this year. Like it's bananas how many picks the Nets have. But no one's gonna take aging Brook Lopez. They may take Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is probably the best trade asset you have. No one's gonna take that isn't like a household name. Like no Giannis, no Dame. And no one's going to take Middleton, who plays 40 games a year, for one guy and Kevin Durant. I mean, Mike Budenholzer is over there, so he loves all those guys. So
So
he
let
may,
me let me let me go ahead and put this on your plate as
yeah,
well. 2026, we have a first rounder. We own that. We have a 2027. Own that.
dude, really, I
2028.
thought they
Own
traded
that.
all that.
2030. We have picks.
You do have picks. I thought they traded that all away when they kind of went in with. I know the Jay Crowder deal. That was brutal.
We have
Five second
picks,
round picks.
bro.
I think.
And I hear what you're saying in regards to what you're saying, the names
And,
and things like that. I get that.
yeah, and here's the deal. They want to ride it out with Dame and Giannis, and I think they may even try to ride it out with Middleton one more. If they're taking calls for Kevin Durant and the Bucks can make something happen for it, I'm all for it. But now you have three, and again, playoffs. When playoffs come, scoring, just score the goddamn ball. But you have already two really dominant players, ball dominant players in Giannis and Dame, who seem to be gelling really well. Like it looks like they know the situation's like, okay, um, we need a we need a three or something. Let Dame control it. Hey, we just Giannis is hot. Just give him the ball. Get the fuck out the way. It seems like they figured it out. And then when Middleton comes in, he's not a ball dominant player per se. But if it's like, hey, we're kind of going through a slump, let's run ISO, put Middleton 18 feet from the basket and let him turn around, stuff like that. It seems like they're figuring it out. I think Kevin Durant, for me, as much as I would love to see that, I don't think I would give up as much for him. I know it sounds stupid, but I just don't think it would work with those three with
Absolutely.
Giannis.
You're protecting the house. Like
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong
and
with that.
you know, Bucks need to realize. I think the reality of Giannis potentially not being a Buck for life is starting to settle in. For life, I'm not saying like he's going to leave in 2 years. I'm saying for life. I mean, you might do this window. They may give him the supermax again,
Brother
and
man.
then after that, if he's 32, 33 with one ring, like he's done. So I'm just saying this: those first round picks, if you trade those away and then leave the team with no future to get young kids, I know like guys to build around Giannis to make him happy. After the Dame deal, yeah, you could probably go sign another guy to prove like, hey, Giannis, we're still here. I'm just saying I think if you trade that away, if you trade those first round picks away, and then all of a sudden you're getting caught with your pants down, Middleton gone, Brook gone, which is fine for Brook. All of a sudden Portis gets a bunch of money, leaves, and now you're just a team that is finishing sixth or seventh because you have a Giannis and Dame goes. Let's just say Dame goes. He's 37. He's old, 36, 37 years old. He's going to try to maximize and ring chase the best he can because he doesn't have any yet. And you're just left with Giannis and some young kids and no like Robin to the Batman we have. I think that would push him out even faster. So I think keeping the first round picks helps. I know I live by the mantra of proven players over picks, right? Because you know what the proven player is going to bring. You trade the future away. But when you don't have as much some other teams do because you traded a bunch of your seconds around, I think you got to keep it. Trade some of the bench away. Try to get into the buyout market. As soon as Zach LaVine left, honestly, I was just like, just don't make a move. If you're going to make a move for a six man, another six man. Get like make your seven guys better. Get rid of the 8, 9 guys, and maybe a pick, not picks, but a pick for a six guy. Get in the buyout market for another bench player. Stuff like that. I just don't think at this moment in time the Bucks should go all into where fuck our next 5 years. Let's go win now. Because if you get Kevin Durant, that's literally a 6-month rental. I don't think he's not going to be like, oh, I'll come back to Milwaukee next year. No, he's just going to be like, all right, I'm going to try to win with Giannis and Dame. If we win, great. If we don't, I'm just going to go to the next suitor next year, wherever that may be. So it's tough. The Bucks are in a really tough situation because the trade market isn't really that good. It really isn't. I think Lonzo Ball would be a great person to bring in. As much as I think he's kind of a dweeb with his family and everything, I think the way he shoots the ball is good enough, and I think he's young enough to bring some energy for some defensive help. Not that he's like known for his defense, but I just think it'd be a good reinforcement. I think Lonzo Ball would be a good fit for the Bucks. So he's not a ball dominant guy. Lonzo, go sit in the corner right over there. Giannis is going to drive, be ready for the kick out at all times. I think he'd be like perfect. So I just think Kevin Durant is a little extreme for me. In my eyes, if they went and did it, I'm gonna tune in. I watched Kevin Durant when the Bucks won their championship in that series. Literally, just the way everybody. I'm just gonna street ball hoop this shit, and he went off.
And
Like,
imagine that with with Dame and Giannis.
no, that's their couple name, Danis.
No, I'm serious though.
Yeah, no,
Imagine those
it
three in
would
the
be.
court. I just want you to
It would
imagine
be.
that right now because this is
No,
what's going to
you're
happen.
right.
This is going to happen. If we don't go ahead and get past round one of the playoffs, Giannis is going to be in the market as soon as he goes ahead and takes that jersey off.
He's got one more year.
I'm not. I'm
He's
not.
not going to be
I don't
happy.
even care. I don't
He's not
care
going to be
about the
happy.
contracts. I
That's
don't
fine.
care about the contracts. I don't care about the extension. I don't care about none of that. You're seeing right now what's going on in the NBA.
You're not
We all
wrong.
know that the media. We all know that this is a base driven where the market teams, like you said, the market teams that are already the face of the NBA, the Lakers, the Celtics, the basically those two, maybe ones that have won.
Knicks.
He's gonna be out of here.
Yeah.
He's going to
I
be
mean,
gone. So they have to
he,
make decisions right now. Like the
and
Bucks have
yep.
got to be strategic enough to go ahead and figure out how they're going to keep Giannis in a Bucks uniform because there are
Mm-hmm.
teams already right now.
Saving for him.
You ain't think the Lakers are already looking at this situation?
I mean, we've heard Miami for the past how many years saying they're not making moves because they're saving up to buy people 3 years from now.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
Giannis
So
has
it's
been on their
just
radar. The Golden State Warriors, they said they're gonna make a run because Steph and Giannis share the same agent. We know that's happening, but and again, yeah, the situation it needs to be like Giannis sees. Okay, we're still contenders. Like we're still doing enough to be contenders, and we're a couple moves away. I thought the Dame move really helped that, although Drew Holiday was his boy. Same with Chris Middleton. Giannis is gonna have to cut that shit out. Like him and Brooke Lopez are best friends. Guess what, bro? He gone. he can't. I
yeah.
understand
I'm
he's.
done watching. I'm done watching Brooke Lopez.
I'm surprised he can move. Um, Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is a person. What he did for the community. He's kind of like Aaron Jones. What he did for the community, who he is as a person, how he plays the game is fantastic. He's a great role model for children. Like if you want to watch how the game is played and played right, you watch Drew Holiday. That trade happened because when the playoffs would come, he'd average 7 points. I understand he was playing 94 feet of defense and given everything he had for defense, but at the same time, the point of the game is to score more points. But now we're talking like, hey, Giannis, Chris, don't play more than 60 games a year, sometimes combined. Like, we got to make moves here, and I understand they're your friends, really good friends, but we got to move on. Like, we want to win, and I thought you wanted to win, and if you don't want to win, maybe they will call somebody and say, hey, Giannis is available for a trade, and somebody will trade the farm for that for another 10 years. So it's going to be interesting, like giving up the farm for Kyle Kuzma or giving up for Bradley Beal.
Oh my
I don't
god!
like those. Honestly, if I had to pick between those three, if you had to pick between those three, Kyle Kuzma, Jimmy Butler, Bradley Beal, I'm picking Jimmy Butler. At least he gives some fire to you. He's not going to be here very long. But if I had to pick between those three jack wagons, I'm picking the guy who at least like has been there. Bradley Beal don't play defense. Jimmy Butler at least gives some effort. And then Kyle Kuzma, I don't even think he knows what defense is. And he's trash anyway. So if they get like a Kyle Kuzma for like maybe, okay, fine. You got another shooter. But that's about it. If we get Kyle Kuzma, it better be for nothing. Or like for Pat Connaughton or something. Don't give up first round picks or anything like that. So they're in a tricky situation because again, I don't think the trade market is that good. I really don't. I saw names moving around and I'm like, I don't like really any of these people except for Zach LaVine. And now Zach LaVine's gone in Sacramento. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't mind if they didn't make a move. Just run it out. Do the buyout market. If there's a guy in the buyout market you like, go ahead, grab him. Other than that, I don't really like the trade market. Kevin Durant would just be fun shiny thing, but he ain't gonna be like committed to this team to win for the next couple of years. So I don't like the Kevin Durant one, but if I had to pick between the three, it'd be Jimmy Butler. But it's gonna be interesting. It's really gonna be interesting. This has been some of the most interesting trade market. Uh, one of the more interesting trade deadlines we've seen, only because of the Luka thing. But it's starting to get some interest here. when it comes down to it. So we got a couple more days, and it's gonna be crazy. Hopefully they don't do anything stupid, but we'll see.
Bucks make the right move. That's all I got to say because
And
that window
yep.
for Giannis is getting slim, and we're
hmm
seeing it right now that we have to make noise this year for him to be like,
Yep.
all right, I can do one more year of this and possibly do a little bit more. So
And on the play of the Bucks, now we talked about the whole other interesting things that the NBA only seems to be worried about is the drama of the NBA. The play of the Bucks past week has been very, very not good. Let's just be honest. We looked at their schedule last week and we were like, that's a very favorable schedule up until the OKC game, and they've lost four straight. So
they lost
if
to
you look,
John. They lost to the Grizzlies without John Morant by double digits. Yikes!
so look at what they've done this year. They started off what 2-13, 2-8. Then they went on 13-1. Then they lost like 3 out of 10. And then they won 7 out of 10. Then they it's literally a back and forth game of good Bucks, bad Bucks. They need to find consistency to you need to beat the teams you need to beat. And then if you drop one off to the better teams, you know what? That's competitive sports, that happens. But they've lost 4 games in a row, except for OKC, except they didn't play. The Herd played OKC. If they would have won that game with the Herd, oh my Lord. But like against the Grizzlies, you shouldn't lose that game. I forget who the other two were. It wasn't good.
They got
San
killed
Antonio.
by double
I think it was.
digits, and they
It,
lost by Trailblazers by double
yeah.
digits.
So those are San Antonio brings a little bit of a challenge because Victor Wembanyama is a freak and an alien.
Man, nobody's worried about that, bro.
But
You should not
it's
lose that game.
but you still you still shouldn't lose that. He's still going to score 30 points, but doesn't matter. You still shouldn't lose that game. So they need to find some consistency, and hopefully, if it is good Bucks, bad Bucks, hopefully the good Bucks show up in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. Because if it's bad Bucks, like we're losing to teams we shouldn't lose now, it's going to be another first round exit.
Yes,
So
yes, it is.
it's tough watching the Bucks because when they're good, it's magical. But when they're bad, it's rip my hair out and possibly drink a little bit more, 1 or 2 more of these.
No, I hear you. Well, let's move on. Obviously, over real quickly. The Milwaukee Brewers go ahead and start spring training camp this
Oh, I
month.
can't wait for
February
summer nights.
22nd, they go ahead and face the Reds. So be on the lookout for that. Badger men basketball, big win against Northwestern.
They were
They won that
down.
one
They came
75 to
out the block
69.
slow that game, and
Yes, they did.
they
It's a
fought back hard, and
prime
thank God they did.
example of, like you said, coming back. Tajay freaking balling 27
He is
points.
so good.
You got
dude.
Winter had 10. I forget who it was. Carter, I think, came off the bench and had 15.
It was just a case of classic Wisconsin men's basketball in the sense of how they go about their business offensively. They're gonna lull you to sleep. They don't. Sometimes when they shoot lights out, and we've seen when they shoot lights out, they're one of the toughest teams to beat in the country. They kind of hold you down defensively, and they actually started off that game on Northwestern started off on an 8-0 run, and which 8-0 run in college basketball is huge. This ain't the NBA where 8-0 run can be erased in a minute. So in college basketball, if you start off in an 8-0 run with a team like Wisconsin, who we've seen before struggles to score the basketball, you're thinking, oh boy, this is in for a long day. I think it was at Northwestern as well. I can't remember if it was at Northwestern or the Kohl Center. So either way, I think that was a great win for Wisconsin. It doesn't look good on paper for the whole Tier 1, how they look at your wins and losses for the tournament, but it don't matter. You just gotta win. And they survived, and because I don't think Wisconsin's gonna get like a 2 or 1 seed. If they win the Big Ten, I think they could be a 3 seed again. But as of right now, you just need to keep winning your games ahead of you. You'll run into some good competition and then go win the Big Ten tournament. And maybe you'll get a 3 seed and not run into a really good James Madison team like you did last year. So Wisconsin, again, college basketball right now is starting to heat up. It's getting to that time where it's serious business. So, and I loved watching. I don't watch a lot of basketball, college-wise anyway. I watched the Kentucky-Arkansas game That was spectacular. So, college basketball is coming down to the wire here, folks, where we got it's going to put us in front of our television. I might take off Thursday, Friday of a fucking week, it's just who knows? Yeah, we'll talk about it.
No, absolutely. And then they got Indiana this week, and then on the weekend they got
Ooh,
Iowa.
ooh,
Um,
tough
Marquette,
games, tough
yeah,
games.
tough games. Marquette went ahead. Obviously, if we all know who do follow Marquette, James could care less. They went ahead and lost to UConn, 77-69.
Oh no!
They got St. John's, and then they got Creighton this weekend. With that, he finishes. We
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and get right into the Jim Bob Cooter picks of the week for the NFL, and it is obviously the Super
Last week
Bowl.
of the year.
Last one for the
Mm.
NFL.
Mm-mm-mm.
Kansas City Chiefs are getting -1.5 versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, let's break it
What
down
are we
here.
thinking here?
So, if you're a smart person, don't bet emotionally. My girlfriend just laughed at me. I heard that. How dare you? God damn.
I said what's
I'm
up.
getting heckled over here on the show. God, oh, man. So if you don't bet emotionally like I do, and
Don't
you're a
you hear?
smart person, you would bet the Chiefs. Why? Because we've all bet against the Chiefs for how many fucking years, and they continuously just steal our money. So if you're smart, fade my bet. I legitimately think, like I say this, I watched that Bills game, and what was the Chiefs' problem? They couldn't stop the run. I know Chris Jones is one of the best interior defensive linemen in the game. Mike Pennell a former Packer, seems to all of a sudden come out of nowhere and be like, by the way, I'm really good too. Only when like I need to be. It makes no sense.
Right.
The Philadelphia Eagles want to do one thing for the most part, one thing only. It's called Feed 26. And they're going to feed 26, and they have the best offensive line in football. And what Philadelphia needs to be ready for is continuous pressure on passing downs. Because Steve Spag, if it's a big spot, 3rd and 4, you need to get off the field. You need to have your best play to, okay, we know what blitz is coming. We need to identify where it is, and we need to have a play in place that's a good blitz beater. Because Steve Spagnuolo for the Chiefs is just going to bring pressure. Like, he does it 41% of the time. That's all he, honestly, like, he puts pressure, like, it's the same equivalent of, like, if you're like, again, we hear it, I'm a baseball player. It's the same equivalent of trying to steal bases, put pressure on defenses, bunting, playing small ball, making the defense work for everything. He does it from a defensive standpoint to the offense. I'm going to bring pressure. You bite us in the ass, congratulations. But guess what? Most of the time, it doesn't bite us in the ass. So I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it until he stops it. So to get out of those situations, Philadelphia is going to want to run the ball with Saquon Barkley. It's the Super Bowl, so all bets are off. You might see some things. Teams are going to run some things that they haven't ran all year. So I think they get that running game going. If Philadelphia gets that running game going, Kansas City is going to have to bring people in the box to stop Saquon, and that's just going to open up for A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and then Jalen Hurts, like he did against against Washington, just fed A.J. Brown. And then with that defensive line for Philadelphia, Zach Bond playing at an all-pro level, having his best season ever. The 2 rookie corners, Cooper DeJean, and I forget the other guy because I think he's even better than DeJean. And Blankenship in that secondary, very good veteran. I think Philadelphia has what it takes. But it's going to be a matchup of Zach Bond versus Travis Kelce for most of the game, in my opinion. I don't think Kansas City has a great running game, but we all know Andy Reid has shit up his sleeve and down, like goes up his sleeve, goes down his torso into his pants. He has everything. So it's going to be tricky. It's going to be weird. I think Philly gets its revenge from 2 years ago. I just wish they would have done it 2 years ago because it cost me a dinner at Carnivore Steakhouse in Milwaukee with John Kuhn and Brian Butch. I don't want to talk about it. It really made me mad. I think Philly. I would take Philly plus the 1.5. What's the over under? Because I'll pick the over under for this game too.
Yeah, the the over is 49.5.
49.5. I'm going to pick the under. The under looked really good in the first Super Bowl, but then halftime hit and shit just started exploding for the Eagles Chiefs last Super Bowl. So
Right.
I would look to the Chiefs trying to tap into Xavier Worthy, the speedster. He's going to have a few gadget plays to get his speed going. Juju Smith-Schuster is probably going to make a cameo, and DeAndre Hopkins is going to try to reverse back time to make him one of the best wide receivers in football like he used to do. So they're a very opportunistic team, like I said in the past. You have to take those opportunities. If you give them a holding call, like if it's 3rd and 5 and you need to get off the field and all of a sudden you have a defensive holding, guess what? Kansas City more than likely will capitalize and go score points. That's what they do. That's just what they do. If you hit Mahomes in the shoulder and they think it's a head and it's 15 yards, guess what? They're probably going to go ahead and cash in. They are the most opportunistic team there is for the NFL for the past 5 years. I don't care if people are like, well, that was a bad call. It doesn't matter if it's a bad call. They're going to get them. If you give them a call, or if somebody gives them a call, they're going to cash in more times than not. We've seen it. It's not like even if it's in their own territory, it's like, okay, they're still on their 30-yard line. You could still, they figure it out. They're a really good coach football team, offensively and defensively. So that's why getting Saquon going is the most important thing. If you get him going, that's going to open up A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith down the field. I think Saquon is just out of his mind, and with that offensive line, I think they're just going to put their hand in the ground and have the attitude of, you ain't going to stop us. I mean, that's what they probably do every game, but it's a Super Bowl. That adrenaline is going to be rushing, pumping. So I think they're going to take advantage of that, get the run game going, use that adrenaline. I think Philadelphia is going to come out. I think it's going to be lower scoring than I think. I think it's going to be about 24-21. Where my under hits by a 1.5. So I think it's going to be 24-21. And I think Philadelphia is going to win it. I don't want them to win it. I don't want any of these teams to win it. If they tie, I'm just kind of hoping. Hopefully there's a tie where all of a sudden they're like, sorry guys, we ran out of time. Nobody wins. See you later. Thanks for coming, everybody. But I think Philadelphia is going to win. So I'm going to pick Philadelphia. 24-21. That's my score.
Love it. Well, I mean, hey, you know what? We appreciate you for the Jim Bob Cooter picks for this year. We're gonna obviously, you got some questions for me.
I got some things for you. So now we're gonna get into our Jeezy picks here. It's a new segment just right now. I just named it right now. So the Super Bowl is the biggest betting day of the year. It's the biggest betting day of the year. There is some exotic picks out there, people. Go into your sports books if you have it. It's not legal in Wisconsin. I'm not gonna give you my secret, but go into your sports books. There's gonna be some fun ones on there, and I'm gonna give the fun ones to RJ right now. I'm gonna give you a standard one to start with. Who's the Super Bowl MVP? I'm not gonna give you a team. I'm not gonna
Who's the Super Bowl MVP?
Who's the Super Bowl MVP? That means give me your winner, because Super Bowl MVPs don't get picked from losing teams. So who's your Super Bowl winner?
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, he's plus 110. That basically means it's even money, my friend. So Patrick Mahomes, your MVP at plus 110. I will give you the top 4 names. Patrick Mahomes is plus 110, which is even money. Saquon Barkley is 2.5 to 1. Jalen Hurts is 3 to 1, and Travis Kelce is the other 4th one at 15 to 1. So that was that. Heads or tails? The coin toss, baby.
The coin toss will be tails never fails.
Absolutely, it never fails. That a boy, I like that. Team to win the toss. Who wins it?
Eagles.
National anthem. I need you to do some research right now. I don't even know this. I can't even pronounce this name. I don't know who's performing the national anthem. I need you to find that out for me, because knowing the person who performs the national anthem is really, really good. It really gives you a tale of, does this person do fast stuff? Does this person do slower stuff? What do they do?
I'm seeing...
I have a name, but I kind of want to... I wanted to confirm that with you because you're the one.
It's John Batsty.
I've never heard of him. Is
Never. I
he?
mean, I might be saying the last name wrong.
I see that name too. Do you wanna do a quick Google search? We're doing all this on the fly, ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah, we're doing this. Let me see here.
What kind of music does he do?
He is. Let me see genre. It just says an American singer and songwriter. Let's see genre.
John Basti.
Pop and jazz.
Pop and jazz. So jazz, my friend. Jazz music. They like to have some fun with it. They like to extend some things out. So you're over under, my friend, on the national anthem. And the way it works is from the first word spoken. So, say, can you see? On the first O, that's when the clock starts. The time ends when the music stops. Not on the last word, but when the music stops. Your over under, my friend, is 123 and a half seconds. That's 2 minutes and 3.5 seconds. Are you going over or are you going under?
I am going to go ahead and go over because they like to overdo the national anthem because they have never been in this situation where they can possibly go ahead and do another Super Bowl again. So I would be taking the over.
Exactly. I've bet, in my personal experience, I've bet the over on every national anthem. When I've started betting, I've bet every over, and it's always hit because every time the music just keeps going because they keep it going for the the flyover that they have. They like to extend that out, and I think 2.5 minutes is quite short. So I'm gonna go over as well on that. And then the final one, my friend, the Gatorade poured on the winning coach. What's your color? What are you picking?
You know what? I think I was kind of figuring out what this would be because we've talked about this multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to go orange, but I don't because that's just really weird if you have an orange bucket and then you got orange in there. That's just, that doesn't work out. So I'm going to go ahead and go blue. I'm going to go blue Gatorade.
Blue Gatorade. My friend, you picked the highest payout my betting site right now. Purple is at 2.5 to 1. Yellow and green or lime in that color spectrum is 2.5 to 1. Red and pink is also 2 to 1. Orange is 3 to 1. Water or the clear Gatorade, the cherry glacier, 6 to 1. And the blue, my friend, you just picked is 7 to 1.
With that hits, boy, holy shit.
So, and then to round it all out, my friend, we did this last week. I think it was pretty fun. So, rounding out the picks, I'm gonna have you rate some stuff blindly. I'm gonna give you 5 things. You gotta pick them blind. You gotta pick them blindly. And today's topic is fast food restaurants. Classic. Yeah. You got it. So I'm gonna give it to you one by one, my friend. First up, Five Guys.
Holy sheesh. We'll put Five Guys at 3.
3. Okay. Next one up, classic, never fails, Taco Bell.
Man, we gotta put that at number 1, bro.
Really? Oh, wow!
We gotta put Taco Bell at number 1. I just I'll give my reasoning after we get through all these in regards of what's gonna be on the list.
Number 3, the third option, Panda Express.
I'm really not a big Panda guy.
Chinese food, Japanese food type person.
I am, but I'm gonna put that at 4. I'd rather go ahead and go to an actual hole in the little wall.
Yeah,
but I'll put
absolutely. Is the Lord's Chicken, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. So now I'm kind of in a predicament because if
I
put Chick-fil-A at 5 and then it's like McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just put Chick-fil-A at 2. I'm putting Chick-fil-A at 2.
Last one, my friend.
Oh yes, 5. You can stay at 5.
Thank you.
Hey, listen. You know how James had his situation on here last time when we had to go ahead and talk about brats.
Let me tell you something about. Let's
go. You about In-N-Out Burger.
Andrew Wood, I hope you're listening to this.
all you little
Go on
people,
then.
all you great people down south, love you. All you guys out west,
Out west
whatever,
too.
don't
Yeah.
care. Nothing beats a Butterburger from Culver's. Let me repeat that
God,
again.
say it again.
Nothing beats a Butterburger from Culver's, okay? I don't care
Yep.
about your Whataburger. I don't care about an In-N-Out burger. I don't care about
They
uh,
don't even
a
know.
Whopper. I don't care. That's why you're at 5.
Call
So
exactly. I love it.
thank God
I
that came in.
could.
That just made my day. That
I
just
could.
made my day.
Yes. So if I had to rank them, knowing,
Yeah.
uh, Chick-fil-A, I think would be number one for me.
Okay.
And
And that's respectable.
it's very close. Like it is very, very close. Five
Yeah.
Guys is number two.
Yeah.
I think Five Guys is the best rival for Culver's. I mean, I've had
Yeah.
Whataburger, I've had In-N-Out. Whataburger is, I think that the Whataburger is kind of like a Butterburger without the butter. Like
Okay.
they kind of make it the same way, it's just without
Yeah.
that delicious butter on it.
Right.
And then In-N-Out is, the burger is good. Like I think In-N-Out burger is a solid burger. Like did I complain when I ate it? No. But then ate your fries, man. That was cardboard and packing peanuts. Come on now. So In-N-Out,
Yeah.
you suck. Like don't even talk to me about that. Taco Bell for me was number 3. And I love Taco Bell. Taco Bell is a solid choice. It's the gift that keeps on giving every year. I thought it was. I'm like, you know what? I'm hardly ever disappointed when I go to Taco Bell because you just know what you're gonna get. And then Panda Express was number 4 for me. I also agree with you going to a hole in the wall Chinese place. I think it's really good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, whenever I get it, I'm never disappointed again either.
Right.
But I'd rather go get something from a hole in the wall place because they just know what they're doing there. Like,
GMO, all that.
jeez, God, it's so delicious. And then In-N-Out Burger, there is 15 other burger joints that I probably pick in front of you. So y'all can keep it. Y'all are, there. If somebody ever asks, "What do you want from In-N-Out?" Culver's.
Right.
That's what
I would
want
tell
from
him I'll
In-N-Out.
take a quarter pounder from McDonald's over that.
Exactly. I'm not. You know what? I'm not even. That is. If I had it between McDonald's and In-N-Out, I'd probably choose McDonald's.
Bro, I'm
Because
taking a quarter pounder over that sorry ass burger.
goddamn day, bro. Any goddamn day. Because again, the burger itself at In-N-Out is all right. Like you're not going to be disappointed. It's a cheeseburger. We've all had them.
Right.
It's they have their little weird sauce to it, which is I like their In-N-Out sauce and animal style and all that crap. Your fries are garbage. Like it's ass, bro. So I mean, there's a place out in there's 15 other burger joints I picked before In-N-Out. So I'm glad you. I was so happy when you left 5 open. I was like, oh my god, let's go. So yeah, In-N-Out, you garbage. I hope.
Yeah.
I know we don't have many people who are from the West or from.
Yeah.
It is a little bit down south. But In-N-Out is garbage. If you want to dispute me on this, you will lose. It's just again, it is just like the Rechex brats. It is just like the old fashioned. There is one answer and one answer only, and you're wrong. Like you can have your opinion. That's great. It's just the wrong one. So on that note, Butterburger all day, every day, no question. Period. Done.
And we're just going to leave it on that. You guys have a wonderful week, wonderful weekend. We will see you next week. Turn in, obviously, to the Super Bowl. Don't you not go ahead and not turn that on.
The biggest
Fly,
movie
Eagles,
trailers
fly.
come out later. The biggest movie trailers and the best commercials come out this day. If you don't want to watch the game, guess what? Just tune in for the commercials. It's going to be great. If you're a movie lover like me, I'm tuning in because some of the biggest movie trailers come out. Let's go, boy. Like the Super Bowl. And if you ain't watching the Super Bowl, you're lying.
And that's fine. Hey, ladies, listen, I know you don't like watching football shit like that, but there's going to be stuff on. You got SZA coming on at halftime, so go ahead and get your little SZA outfit on. Sit there, watch the game.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the halftime show. We're going to talk about the halftime show next week.
We'll talk about it at halftime. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. But listen, have a great weekend. You guys enjoy it. Go ahead and get some food. Sit down. Maybe go ahead and get you some Culver's. Maybe go ahead and get you some Taco Bell.
The best burger out there.
Maybe go ahead and get you Crunchwrap Supreme, maybe, because that's what I like to get. That's why it was at number 1 for me. But you guys have a
Exactly.
good one, man. We will see you sooner than later.
We'll talk to you later.